Right, guys, it's an update from Bulgaria. Um, Nothing spectacular happening at the moment. There's a lot of political things going on around the world, and these disasters and wildfires um, and all sorts of things happening, and a lot mass shootings and mass the car things. People driving cars into other people, and this has been going on for a while now, and these fires. I mean, if you look at the Maui fire and the earlier Californian fires, they're not really kind of. They don't really look natural at all. Especially if you look up like houses with blue roofs and blue cars, and you see people do experiments with things with blue things which don't combust. Anyway, without saying too much, you've got to watch what you say. But so we've had a lot of power cuts. I haven't done the videos as regular because we've had a lot of power cuts and a lot of internet outages, and the reason being is it's not the actual snow; it's the snow melting. Because if it melts quickly, you get a lot of stuff sliding off the roofs, and what you get over the period is snow self compacts. So it does that on your roof, and you get a layer at the bottom which is consolidated, and it becomes icy, chunky. And then if you get then a temperature, it's all to do with the weather patterns, and when it heats up quickly, then this will slide off rather than just melting. And that's what's been happening, and it takes out the cables. Like it's just, and it's even quite specific to like these narrow valleys where we live, because the cables are right on the edge of the road and the houses, and these chunks of ice hit the cables and bring them down. And I was thinking, could they put the cables elsewhere? Well, they could put them underground, but like, I don't know whether that would be kind of possible around here. But it's only local. A lot of the houses in the bigger valleys are back away from the road, and there it's mainly trees, branches. A lot of trees have come down actually during this winter, and that's natural. That's a natural selection, and a lot of trees have come down with the weight of the snow. And it's snowing again right now. It's coming down quite heavy. So we've got fresh snow now, just when it was all cleared. And it's forecast for 3 days, so God knows what we'll have. And we'll probably have more power outages and rinse and repeat, and more internet down. So I'll get this video uploaded straight away now before that happens. And kind of, I made a couple of videos but I couldn't upload them, and they're now they're not as current as they were. So so winter life here is just same old. Lots of cooking. Got the chili con carne on now, and I make it hotter if the weather's colder. And the firewood is I'm doing quite well on that. And it looks like I'm going to use around about. Not that I don't. I'm just monitoring it. I'm not like skimping on it or not using it. Before anyone comments. And I'm not cold, which I keep telling people as well. So just rinse and repeat. But the power outages, there's a lot of people complaining about them this year because this winter in particular, there's been a lot, far more than there's been in the last 5 years. All put together, I would say, there's been a lot of power outages. Now, it's probably the conditions have got to be certain conditions and stuff like that. A lot of branches have come down, and so they'll all be gone now for the next few years, if you know what I mean, till the other trees get big enough to come down or whatever. There's a lot of trees that aren't going to be falling down next year or now with the second round of snow. So a lot of stuff that's come down and brought the cables down isn't going to be a problem now if you get the progression. So I've just been watching a few things about there's one on the UK. It just caught my eye about van life in the UK, which I don't know why anybody would be living it unless you're working. You've got a job there. I don't know why anybody would do van life in the UK, because it's so prohibitive. And now they're complaining about these people, and they go to Scarborough in the winter. And there's this place in Scarborough, it's like a lower road, and there's nobody there. In the winter, it's desolate. It's desolate. So the van lifers go then. It's not free, so they pay. So they, keeping Scarborough going, and the cafes stay open for them. And so why isn't that a good thing? And there's nobody else there. If the van lifers go from there where they park now, there'll be nobody else there in the winter. It'll just be deserted the whole winter. But people complaining about them, and it's nowhere near any houses or anything. So there's no noise. And they're saying like that they're throwing litter. Well, some of them might. I mean, people fly tip anyway who don't live in vans, and people throw litter who don't live in vans as well. It just you might notice it if it's around like one particular van, and it's not free. These parking places, I think you said it's £10 a night, something like that. I mean, so that's good money for Scarborough. But again, it's the population in the UK. It's like a complaining nation, and they can't see other people doing other things, And the complaints, if you look at where they're parking, the complaints are completely unfounded. They're nowhere near where anyone lives. And the nearest places are all hotels. So I don't know which locals they're on about, who's complaining. And if you've ever been to Scarborough, and why anyone would ever want to spend a winter on Scarborough Front anyway, the van lifers, is beyond me. And so they're obviously not working there, surely, because they're not from Scarborough. I don't know. I don't know why they would go there. Anyway, I could think of better places to go. But that's their choice. But they're even getting thrown out of the most desolate place you could ever think of. The worst place you could ever think of. But they say it's great, fantastic. Each to their own, I say. And I would say they are not causing, looking at it and the drone footage and all the rest of it, they're not causing any aggravation to anybody, really. At all. Not at all. Anyway, so that's that little thing about the van life. And the UK, it's just the UK all the time. And a lot of it's the population themselves. They're doing it to themselves. And they're voting themselves. And now they'll do it again. They'll think everyone vote reform. Reform won't reform anything. And the sooner people realise this, the better. If you look at Nigel Farage, I like Nigel Farage as an entertainment person. and he talks a good job, and he brings a little bit of life into the politics and stuff, and he's a good opposition voice, if you like. But like you see what happened when Brexit, when they won Brexit, he disappeared. He skedaddled. He got out of even his UKIP, his party. He resigned. He left it to that guy from Bootle, who made a right mess of it. What was his name? Paul something. He went to Stoke and he wasn't living there, and he wasn't well received, and he did a lot of damage to UKIP, and I don't know whether it's still going actually. So now you've got him, and he disappeared, Farage, and he was promising as if he was going to deliver all this money to the NHS. He was going to stop all the immigration with the money they were saving from not being in the EU, or they were going to stop because of that. And it's got worse, and you've got the worst type of people coming. The other people who used to migrate and work, like the Poles and Eastern Europeans, they were useful, and it was a good deal. And a lot of them, they weren't coming for benefits. They were working and sending money back, and they were going to go back. And that was a lot of the Poles we worked with. That was their plan. That was their plan to go back, to build something back home. And most of the Eastern Europeans, that was the plan. Not all of them, but that was most of the plans. Unlike the Indians, they come and then they're not planning to go back to India. Which it's up to them what they want to do, and they came to work as well. But now you got people just filling hotels up, and the hotel. If I was a hotelier, I would say you got full occupancy all the year round. Who's going to refuse that? And good money. You just say yeah, You don't have to please them, anything like that. And they're looked after by their security people and whatever. I mean, it's an offer it'd be hard to refuse if you're a struggling hotelier, and you've got these full crumbling hotels like in some backwaters in the UK, which I mean, all the hotels I've been to in the UK, I mean, some of them are pretty crummy, they really are, and like even in big cities and that, there's a lot of like scuzzy like hotels, and you go to the hotels now in Eastern Europe, everything's brand new. Go to Albania, everything's new, and looks nice weather, all the rest of it. You go to like the UK and like London, and get these tiny little box rooms and paying a fortune. The whole thing about the UK, the whole thing is like crumbling, this van life thing is just yet another thing, and they've announced a lot more things over the last few days. More taxes on more things, and it's just not gonna recover. So I'd be looking. Still, I'd say to people, look to be getting out, or get some other form of kind of setup, accommodation setup, and that, because I think the property, and I said that in 2016. I thought it was going to be no longer a money maker, no longer viable, because it was detaching then, and I thought there wasn't like this so-called ladder anymore. It was detaching, and it's detached, and now to bring it back, you just have to collapse the market, start again, which probably will happen. Plus, you've got the massive one in property-wise is commercial properties in the UK and America. The places are full of them because half the people work from home, and the other half, like all the mom and pop stuff's, it's all closed down, and the high streets have all collapsed in the UK. And I mean, that's a change that happened because like everything's in one place now, which and all the things they did in the high street. If you watch Wandering Turnip, he explains why they died, and most of it's like parking fees, rateable values, and all that caper. So it's just if you do the sums, you can't have a shop. You just can't have a shop in high street. The figures won't work out. Whatever you'd have to be selling stuff, like there'd have to be a queue round the block for you to make any money. And like the nail in the coffin was when everyone got locked up, and obviously, and plus there's a lot of other minuses as well. Like everything's against you. Everything, energy costs, online stuff. Like most of the stuff I buy here in Bulgaria is online, and we've got a fantastic courier service called Econt, and your stuff is there. Like this click and collect, quite good in the UK. The Argos, you can go and click and collect in Argos and other places, and that's quite efficient. But this Econt system, whoever's in charge of it, whoever owns it, whoever runs it, is spot on, very good. They probably worked in click and collect or something like that, and came over here, and that's another good thing with a lot of people coming back from the West. They bring stuff with them. That the good things. If there was any in the West, they bring them here. But this Econ, the courier service here, it's fantastic. Your stuff is there. It's gonna be there. It's never failed. Like DHL, when they first started getting in the EU and all that, DHL was awful. It was as bad as the postal service here, which is probably the worst service in Bulgaria. So come on, postal service, pull your socks up. The postal service here is absolutely hopeless. They don't deliver letters. They don't tell you when, they should have a texting service. If he can text you, why can't the post office? If they're not going to deliver your stuff, you've actually got to know that stuff is being delivered, because you've got to go and get it. And you've got to know it's there. No one tells you. So if you get a surprise parcel off someone, which I've had in the past, and I don't know it's there, you won't see it. It's gone. And they send it back, and they don't know where it goes. And it doesn't go back to the sender. So it just goes somewhere, back to the ether. There's a big centre in a place called Veliko Tarnovo now, which handles all the stuff from abroad, and they do all the you've got to pay duty now, stuff from the UK. Not that anyone ever sends me stuff now, because I've told everyone not to, don't send anything, but nobody would now anyway, because I don't have much contact with the UK. So I do most of my shopping for any goods or anything like that online. I'm a bit like hesitant to buy footwear in particular online, because the sizes you never know, and the width and stuff like that. So probably I've been thinking about buying some boots and that, but I'm gonna go and buy them from probably Decathlon or somewhere like that. There is boots there. I want some Carrymore boots, but I don't want to just get buy them unseen and you've got to try stuff on like that. Anyway, that's another thing. So yeah, all good in Bulgaria. I mean, people actually commented, "I haven't seen you online," and I haven't been online because we had 2 days just prior to last night where the internet was down, and it'll probably go down again now because it's snowing heavy outside. So I'll get this uploaded sharpish now, and so now the main thing we're looking forward to January, and I'll go through this year. I'll go through the costs as they come along because I've got a lot of costs coming up early doors in January, February, right? So I'll do a cost analysis at the end of each month. I'll do a cost and see where we're coming in at. And I know what it'll be. I'm aiming this year because I've got a few things I want to buy, actually, more than last year. Although it won't be that much more. So I'm aiming this year, I want to come in at around about, and I'll be happy with €7,000 because I want to buy a load of metal as well and do frame out the back. And I'm going to do that. So €7,000. Like I should be able to frame the back out because I want to really get it done now. It's starting to bug me that I haven't done it yet. I should have done it by now. It's a frame, so you get all the climbing and grapevines and honeysuckle and all that, and shade and all that kind of stuff. Because I can actually put temporary shade. You can get the shade cloth, and in the summer, if it's framed out from the house, the whole garden. I'm going to do the whole garden about 2.5 meters high, and just frame it out in like about a 4 meter grid or 5, and then it's going to be a 5 meter grid, and with intermediate stuff, so I can grow it all sorts of stuff. I can grow, just let it go, cucumbers and all kinds of stuff, and I can basically in the really hot months I can shade it with this shade cloth or shade parts of it, and I just put normal rebar mesh on top, the lightest mesh, 6mm on top, and it's really, really great. And I had it in the last house, and it's fantastic now. It's all matured in that house, and it gives you shade all around the house. And so I've got to get that done, and that'll cost maybe €1,000 tops, absolute top. And I'm doing a deal with the neighbour who's bought next door. He wants a big patch of land up the back beyond my immediate garden, the walled garden. He wants to swap that. Well, he wanted to buy it, but I said I'll swap it for a strip of land the side of my house here. And if that comes off, it opens up all sorts of possibilities for me. Loads and loads, including splitting the house. I could get an apartment with a separate parking and separate entrance then for upstairs, if I ever wanted to, which I might do in the future. If anything drastic happens, with the financial collapse or whatever, or asset collapses or whatever, you could, the prices around here are really good at the moment. But anyway, so that's it. More snow now, rinse and repeat. So I'll be out with the snow shovel, and then the tractor, which has been coming up and down, will come and bury my car again. And but it was a bit irritating at the end, really, because he was ploughing snow, which was already virtual ice. I was making the road wider and wider. He's sent up here by the council, because our mayor lives up here. It's a lady, and she lives up here. So, and that's probably a maybe a relative of hers in the tractor. And they kept sending him up even when the snow had gone. And he kept pushing snow against people's against people's gates in my car. I mean, it was unnecessary, you know, absolutely unnecessary. So if you're watching, Mr. Tractor Man, stop burying my car when it's not necessary. Because everything was running anyway. The road was clear. There wasn't even any snow. It was just coming and pushing the banks further out, which are now walls of ice. And now they're going to get bigger. Okay, so that's us. We're okay. Everything's okay in Bulgaria, and it's looking good. I've got my cabin bag now for the Wizz Air. I'm going to do that now as well, right away. Before the internet goes off, I'm going to check in for the flight Wizz Air to Sicily. Cheers.